Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Robot Rumble 2. We are going to be creating another robot in today's episode. And in this episode, we are going to be creating a wedge robot. One of my least favorite robots to create. So I decided to get it out of the way in episode 3. So let's just jump right into it and figure out what the hell we're going to be doing. Alright, so we're here in the bot builder, and I'm a little nervous, guys. The only reason why I say that is because to build a successful wedge robot, you need to do a lot of things correctly. Meaning you need to have a perfect amount of drive, you need to have a perfect amount of leverage from the floor to your wedge, and just be able to create a robot that can fit both of those aspects and still win the fight. Not even talking about this robot needs to have defense, it needs to have armor, it needs to be able to most likely be invertible with the wedge still being able to work. So we're gonna focus on making a decent wedge robot today. Now I can't promise a good wedge robot as of now just because I'm not good at the game yet. But I'm getting there. I'm still learning a lot of things, and from my last episode to this episode, we're going to be doing a lot of things differently. And I'll show you guys a little bit of that later, but let's jump into creating a new chassis shape. Now, I want to point out a comment that was left by Battle Aquamarine. He or she writes, does a wedge plus a vertical spinner count? If so, then make a bite force / endgame one might be a good pick. If not, then something like Gruff. If you guys don't know the robot Gruff, I really like this robot idea. It's a fantastic idea. I didn't consider this being a wedge robot because it's mostly a fork. I don't even know how to explain it. It's a fork lifter. But if we do something that's somewhat similar to that, I feel like we can make a really good robot that'll come out here and potentially just control the match to get some points through a decision or something. So what I'm going to be doing in today's episode is different from what I did in the last 2 episodes, meaning I'm going to be creating a chassis, but just the bottom part of the chassis, and from there, we're done with the chassis. I'll show you guys a little bit later, but I think we're going to be doing just a somewhat simple design, with being like a kind of like that. Yeah, this is good for me. So this is the design we're going to be going for. And all I'm going to be doing is making the second layer, putting it all the way down. That's our chassis. That's what we're going to be working with. So all we got to do is just move on. And here we go. We're going to start making a robot. So we are here, and what we're going to be doing is placing everything down that we need to on this little platform right here. It's just the bottom part. We're not putting anything on the inside of this robot because the inside would be this little hitbox right here. But we're not going to be doing that. We're placing everything on top, and then we're going to customize by building shapes to make this robot be exactly how we want. So with that being said, we're going to be using essentially a custom chassis. So let's jump into it. If we're making a wedge robot, we actually need to have the front plate first. Let's just jump right into that because I think we can do this pretty simply. So all I'm going to be doing for this is just placing down a cube and just shrinking it to about that level, and we're just going to stretch it out all the way until we have somewhat of a decent grasp of what we want. So this is the first part of our robot. I'm going to make this hard ox, I believe, and let's just make it a different tone for now. Let's just do pink so it pops a little bit, and we're gonna jump right into the wedges that we're gonna be creating. Now I have a picture of Gruff up next to me. The reason why I'm picking Gruff, first of all, is because this is gonna be a pure wedge robot. It's not gonna have a spinner, it's not gonna have a secondary weapon. Its main focus is just going to be driving into another robot and trying to get grappling points off of it. So there's a little thing that I really like in this game called a 90-degree hinge. And if you place this down and angle it how you want, and we connect something to this, that wedge will be able to flex more when it hits another robot. So let me just make an example out of that real quick. I'm going to actually get rid of this just because I want to make two of them. So I'm going to set the mirror on. So my plan for this robot is to have two somewhat large wedges on each corner and then having a stationary wedge in the middle of this so that the bending wedges can kind of lift up the robot while the stationary one will stay where it is and at all times and then just be able to control from there. So the wedge that I want to create today, I'm going to be doing a side view of it. That's the best way I can figure out how to make wedges as of now, if you want to get the exact shape that you want to get. And of course we could just do an easy little something like that, but my objective right now is to kind of get a nice little pop-up right there. Yeah, that's going to look good. So we pop that up, bring it down a little bit. We got our wedge. Wedgie. And something that if you guys want just a pro tip, it's not really a pro tip, but if you want to get something to attach and you can't really figure out, because I want to get these wedges attached to these gray things without zooming in all the way and finding the exact spot for it, what I can do is press G for snap and just click right that on. And it should be attached even though it doesn't look like it. And then with G still applied, we can then get everything rotated how we want to. And I'm still not 100% sure exactly which material is the best, but I've learned that Hardox is, in my opinion, the meta that I can find. It's between steel and Hardox, just based off of weight. That's all I got. I don't know which one has more hit points. If there is a link to some of that and you guys know the answer to it, I would love to know the answer. So we got our little wedgelets down, and these guys are going to be flexible. So if we throw this down, we don't have anything in our robot, of course, but these can bounce however we need. And of course we can set this to have more of an angle if we want, so we'll just put it down as much as possible. And from there we are just going to be putting in a normal wedge that we can get right here. So we got our front wedge, double wedge going right there. All we have to really worry about now is trying to get the exact measurement that we want for the rest of the robot. I'm actually a big fan of how these wedges are coming along so far. Now, of course, Gruff, the robot that I'm somewhat building this after, is, let me show you what they're kind of like right now. So if I want to build completely after Gruff, they have kind of a flat area right here with a couple flame throwers on the side and then two forks that go down. Now what I'm going to do, because this is simply just a wedge robot, I'm going to be designing a fork system that won't actually move. It's going to be designed to just simply scoop up the robot. I think I'm going to attach it to these right here because I think that would be the best call. So these wedges are purely designed just to get a nice little scoop underneath the robot before the flexible wedges hit. Now I have a somewhat decent idea with what to do on this side, meaning on top of the wedges. So once the robot gets scooped up, obviously it's going to need a little scooper to control the robot. So I'm thinking about doing kind of a curved shape, kind of like a snow plow, that'll help the robot grapple and keep control of a robot. So I'm going to try to incorporate something like that into this bot. Alright, so I kind of came up with something that can look decent-ish. It's definitely an eyesore for now, but it is essentially a big scooper. I know it's kind of thin right here, but I'm going to do some detail work to make it look thick. It definitely has potential because I don't think there's going to be a robot that's going to be like this tall. And if there is, this is specifically meant to block different types of weapons. So yeah, I think this could work. Definitely could work. Now, my only concern is that this is attached to this block right here, this little pink thing, and I put it specifically designed so it wasn't attached to any wedge or anything, so this has to be broken in order for this to fall off, or vice versa. So what we're going to be focusing on now is trying to get some armor touches to this robot. So it's all about defense, you know. So I'm going to be adding some poles that connect this to the pink bar, just so it has some realism to it. And I'll be back once I finish that. It should be a simple project, but we'll get hopping in right to it. So that kind of works. We've got two big H's on each side. So this is designed to properly hold up this design so far. I don't even know. Other than that, I think the front of this robot looks decent. It's decent. I can't say for sure it's great. We're definitely gonna have to test it, of course, against another robot. But for now, let's work on getting it moving and running like an actual robot. So I just want to point out something that I learned in just messing around with this game is actually I thought so. There's a number up here called, it says 34 colliders. So what I thought that was actually the amount of colliders that are inside the robot, meaning it's not correct based off of physics. And I was wrong about that. Pretty much what that number represents is the amount of hitboxes that this robot has from another robot. So let's just say there's another robot that has a spinner that was trying to attack our robot. Our robot has currently 42 things to possibly hit off. And I did not understand that. So there's a little bit of a fun fact for everybody who was confused about that. Maybe nobody else was. Maybe I'm just an idiot, which is very possible, might I add. That's one of the biggest possibilities of this whole entire system. I'm a big old fool. Everyone needs to know that. Everybody needs to know that. So this robot is not going to be designed to be invertible. And that could be a big mistake, and we might have to touch that up late in a completely different episode. But I'm planning on having interior wheels. And with that being said, interior wheels most likely, most of the time, especially with a giant wedge like that, cannot be invertible. So we're gonna just hope and pray that no robot flips us, which we're gonna get flipped. This robot's gonna lose some fights because purely it got flipped, and that's not gonna be cool. But we're gonna deal with it, and we're gonna figure it out, because we ain't gonna cry. We ain't gonna cry when something bad happens. This is all we're gonna do on the inside of a robot. So I'm gonna hook it all up right now, test drive it around, see how it all flows, just because I want to see this robot driving. I don't know about any of you guys, but it's about time I need to see what this thing looks like. All right, here's the moment of truth that I've been waiting for. Test drive number 1. I think I got it all set up. Oh no. Well, obviously that's not a good sign, right? All 4 of the wheels just flew off. Oh my gosh. Back to square one, shall we? Oh, there's the wheel. We kept our wheels with us. That's good. That's good, right? All right, let's I can't believe the wheels just fell off like that. Alright, now this is actually something that I'm almost happy that it happened. I wanted to introduce to this channel, at least, a gearbox. Now what a gearbox is essentially a ratio. That's my best way of explaining it. It's a belt that'll make motors go faster, essentially. And if you have the right compatibility, you can make a lot of good stuff happen. We're doing it. It's been done. We're doing exterior wheels just like that. That's what happens with gearboxes. They make you do things you didn't first plan on doing. Now, because these are exterior wheels now, we have to get a certain thing going. I'm making this robot invertible now. It's a goal. It's a goal of mine. And that best way to do that is to get the back wheels larger. So if it flips, it'll still be able to run on these back wheels. So let's just put that down for now. Alright, so is driving better? Is driving much better? We're getting the control we wanted. We're getting everything that's needed. So I think I got it all. I feel like I figured it out. What we want to do is flip this robot in a way that it'll land upside down, and we can still rock and roll upside down. Now it's more of a scooper, I guess, at this point. It won't be doing much damage, but it still can do damage. We're getting some good Yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted. So we got that good scoop going where we can pin the other robot. And this is a 100 kilogram crate that we're lifting right now, might I add. And we're still functionable upside down. So I must say we did everything that I was planning on doing. So we got our interior, everything's perfect inside. We got all the batteries that we need hooked up. I'm actually going to hook up these just in case they run out. And now all we do is have to fill in the rest of the robot, the outer chassis, and we can call it a day after that. So what I'm going to call this boy is scoop, scoop, scoop. Yes. Scoop, there it is. Oh, there's a stupid commercial going around right now that's just like, oh, scoop, there it is. So there it is. Scoop, there it is. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it's funny, alright? Give me a break. It's funny. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to add the outer chassis of this robot. And with that being said, it's actually going to be somewhat easy because this isn't a difficult shape that we're going to have to be messing with. So all we got to do is just extend this out until it hits the little corner right there. So right there. That should be perfect on the other side. Awesome. From there, we're just going to keep doing that until everything's connected. So we're going to do the same thing right here. There we go. That looks good to me. So we got the little base part of our robot. Now we can extend that as high as we want, but we don't necessarily need to because the only thing we have to worry about are those batteries, but they seem to be just like a couple pixels higher. And what we can do to fix that is actually just add down another cube on top of that, and we're going to flatten this. So we got the back of our robot set up. I had to add a few little custom shapes down here, and this is still not exactly how I want it to go, but I can't really complain as of now because it's not terrible. There we go. Yeah, that looks fine to me. That looks fine. And I'm gonna actually make these glass, so right here, so we can kind of see through them. And from here we're gonna add this rest of this plate, and we are going to consider this a finished robot. So let's just add that last little wedge, or sorry, last little shape. Now this is actually meant to be how it is right now. I want that kind of thing going on with this robot where there's different layers towards it. I don't know why. I kind of felt that when I wanted this robot. Perfect. There is our robot. Now I haven't colored it or anything yet, but it's looking pretty good. Now it doesn't have any armor. It has 0 armor on each of the sides, so I'm going to have to add on my own, most likely, just some protective wheel guards, and I don't even know what else. But we still have plenty of room to do everything. So what I'm going to do is actually, I think I have, let me just pull this up real quick. So in the future, when we're out of every type of robot design to build, I'm going to be doing a randomizer for the colors and the weapons and everything like that. So I have this this thing right here. So I'm going to be putting this into the colors. So let's go to colors real quick and figure this out. Go to tint. So I have this listed all the way right here from 1 to 30 something. 1 to 36. So back here, this is 1 through 36, and we're going to be applying the colors to things. So I'm going for 2 colors in this, all right? So I'm going to spin this, and whatever color it lands on, that's our primary color for this robot. This is a dark brown robot color. So let's jump back into Robot Arena, or sorry, Robot Rumble, and we got dark brown. And now, what number was it? 22? 20, 21, 22. So this is our main color. So let's just throw that down. It's a couple places. What is our next color? What will our next color be? Our secondary color. I hope it goes well with dark brown because this is what it's going to be. Pink. It's that one. God. One in the pink and one in the... Well, let's color it. Let's color it. Should we do a third color just to see what we get? Don't be anything gross that goes with that. Dark red, 31. That would be this color. God, these are not good colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick between the three of these colors. I'll do two and I'll pick between... No, we're doing one more. We're doing one more. Now that we're here, I'll pick two colors out of these four colors that I get. Forest? 33 forest. Alright, that's not bad. This color. So these are the colors we get to choose from. We get red, brown, pink, and forest. We have some decent color combos to pick between. I'm going to stick with the first color that we got, which is dark brown. I'm going to go green. I'm going to go forest green with this, with a brown. There we go. This is gonna come out pretty sick, I think. So let me just color this real quick. Put some nuts and bolts on, and then I'm going to call it an episode. And we'll get a finalized version of this after the episode is done. Alright, I can't... It's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly, guys. I'm gonna be completely honest here. This may be one of the ugliest robots I've ever made. Alright? But you know what? We had fun along the way. We had fun. Alright? Like, that's all that I asked for. We had a grand time. Now I might throw in a splash of different colors elsewhere, but oh gosh. It's just so darn ugly. It's just so darn ugly, guys. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Robot Rumble 2. In the next episode, we're going to be doing a flipper robot, so give me down in the comments below what type of flipper robot you guys are excited to think of, or whatever. I just want to see your guys' comments below. You guys are doing a great job so far, leaving all the comments below, and it's making me super happy. So with that being said, guys, let me know if you guys enjoyed this episode. I love to see your feedback. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, night, weekend, weekday, whatever it is. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Robot Rumble 2. Have a good one.